Hey there, I'm Thomas, and welcome to the Storyline Show. During this edition of the Storyline Show, I'm calling it Drag One to Multiple. And the idea behind this is we have one object on the screen that the learner clicks on, and they're able to move to various sections of the screen and receive additional content or information about that particular section. Storyline itself is really good at one-to-one. Think of a definition and a word, and the word matches the definition, and there's only one word that matches that definition on the screen. That's a one-to-one relationship. Even if you have, let's say, 4 definitions on the screen and 4 words, it's always going to resolve to one-to-one. If you drag one to the incorrect definition, for example, you'll get a pop-up message that says this is wrong, this is an error. But what we're going to do is we're going to take one object and allow you to drag that to different areas of the screen. I've used this quite a lot with clients who are looking to have almost like a choose your own adventure where the character, the player, gets to decide where they go on the screen first. And it also facilitates what I call lean-in moments, where the learner has to stop reading or stop kind of just clicking the next button over and over again to actually get to design their own learning. Where do they want to see first? I've done it for a sports club where the trainer went to different areas of the gym. So the learner dragged the trainer to the weight room, and they dragged the trainer to the front desk, and they dragged the trainer to the workout rooms so that they can get more information about what was going on in their gym. But there wasn't a preset location on where that person had to go. Really fun ways to be interactive, really fun ways to be a lot different than just your typical drag and drop exercises. And I got to tell you, they're super rewarding for the learner. So as always, the files and the assets will be downloadable for a small fee at our website. So feel free to follow the links below, and you'll be happy to contribute to the Storyline Show. Keep these going, and I would so appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time. And on to the Storyline Show, Drag One to Multiple. Okay, welcome into Storyline, and as you can see, we have our simple setup. Our idea here is that this little barbarian who is flying on this rain cloud, the learner will be able to click and drag him to those different locations on the screen, those little brown palettes. So we're not going to tell the learner which one to go first, which one to go second. There's no specific order. They can literally jump from the cloud into any of those individual pieces. By the way, when you purchase the files and you download the files, you'll receive an SLS001 start, which will be literally this blank slate, if you will, this blank palette, and you'll be able to follow along with the video and recreate the individual animated pieces and the drag and drops on your own. But it also comes with SLS001 Finish, which I'll be saving after we're done with the demo here, and you'll have the final version as well. So not only will you be able to follow through step by step, but you'll also have a final version, which will be very helpful for when it's time to go back and review these pieces. So as you can tell, I like to have all of my content on the slide at one time. This is before any of the back-end stuff, and also I've done quite a bit of disabling. In the player, you'll notice that I have removed all of the player controls. I just have the title on the screen. I've removed all the player tabs, and I'm using the black modern player as my default. So that way you're not distracted by any of the other stuff going on the screen. So perfect. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to convert this to a freeform slide. If we were going to use, and let's say we were just going to do a new slide, and we were going to do a graded question, and we were going to do a drag and drop exercise, these are all one-to-ones. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to build our own, friends. So as a result, we need to create a freeform slide. And once we create that freeform slide, drag and drop is our first choice. So you click OK, and boom, now we have a freeform slide. And you can see we're given our slide view and our form view and the opportunity to create drag and drop from a freeform. But we're dragging one to many. Our little barbarian wants to go to lots of different locations on this floating island. So we need a drag item, but we're going to use triggers to create the targets and the effects of those targets. So the first thing we need to do is we have our drag item, and I've created a character here. So the character is the only one who's going to be able to be dragged. And as you can see now, boom, we have no drop objects because we're going to use player triggers to create those drop objects as opposed to relying on Storyline to do it for us. So right now, if we preview this slide, it'll take a couple of seconds to crunch away on my happy machine, but perfect. You can see that our character and the clown animates in. I've created an overstate for our barbarian, so he glows orange when you over him. And then I've created a state where, you know, the press state is faded, and obviously nothing is active, but we can test that our happy barbarian is now able to move around the slide. Perfect. So we're going to close the preview and go back in. Excellent. So we need to turn these objects into hotspots. We need to turn those objects into landing places for this object. Okay. So I'm gonna eliminate the incorrect and correct layers. Yes, I want to delete those. And what I'm gonna do is that as this dude clicks and drags onto that layer, we're going to show layers for each of those four brown palettes. So we're going to call this one layer 1. Well, let's be a little more creative. Let's say top of mountain, and we'll create another one. We'll call it mid top, and we'll create another one called low top. How about mid low? That makes a little bit more sense. And low mountain. Okay, excellent. So we have our 4 layers, and the pseudocode we're going to use, which is the kind of the imaginary code that we're going to speak in English, then we're going to make the triggers perform, is when the user clicks and drags our barbarian and moves them to one of these 4 locations, then we're going to show a particular layer. So, for example, when the learner clicks and drags our barbarian to this location, we're going to show the top of mountain layer. So, I notice here on our player triggers that we have a submit button still on the slide. We don't need that submit button. I'm going to remove that submit button on my slide properties, back into my layer. Perfect. So, let's create our trigger. The first trigger we're going to do is we're going to show layer. We're going to show the top of mountain layer when the user drops the object on the target. And that is from this drag drop events. When when the user drops the object on the target, the object that we want to drop is the character. And the target we want to drop is, let's see, which one is it? That's landing 4. So you can see that we're going to show layer top of mountain when the user drops the object. Which object? The character. What's the target? Landing 4. Boom. Done. So now this is what's cool. We can go back to our form view, drag and drop options. I'm going to snap to center on my my drop target options. We're snapping to center. Not going to worry about these other pieces yet because we're manually showing a layer instead of providing feedback. So let's click on this top of mountain layer, and we'll insert like a little quote. I'll just do something silly. We'll do a little quote that says, "Hello, captions." There we go. We'll do this caption that says, "Arg, the top of this here mountain is really high up." Exclamation point. Perfect. So now when our barbarian gets to that top of the mountain, "Arg, top of the mountain. Top of this here mountain is really high up." Super fun, super interesting, but of course it could be whatever you'd like. And now here's the cool part, right? So when that shows the top of the mountain, it's because it's a layer, it has layer attributes. So we can hide the other slide layers when this one disappears, so we don't have to worry about all of these pieces showing up. We can add video, we can add audio, we can add whatever we want when the user clicks on this particular instance because we're giving them their whole new layer. How awesome is that, friends? I think that's really cool. So here's the neat part, is that because these are triggers, all I have to do is copy these triggers and then paste the trigger back in, And then we're going to show this one. What did we call this one? Mid-top. We're going to change that to mid-top when the user drops the character on landing 3. Boom. And let's just copy this piece here. And I'm going to go to mid-top, and we're going to paste it. Move it to the new location. And we can say, I feel like I can create a summer home here. Exclamation point. And then let's go to mid-low. And we can say, although we are not too high up, I don't like the way this place smells. And then low mountain is too close to the edge. Too many seagulls. Seagulls, stop it now. Inside joke. Perfect. Okay, that's awesome. We have our 4 layers, and all we need to do now is copy our object triggers to apply to landing 2 and landing 1, and we're good to go. So let's just copy this. We're going to copy, and then paste, and we are going to show layer mid-low when the learner lands on landing 2. Okay, mid-low, landing 2. And then we are going to show the layer low mountain when they click on landing 1. So perfect. We have landing 1, 2, 3, 4. We're showing top of mountain when they click on landing 4, mid-top on landing 3, mid-low on landing 2, and low mountain on landing 1. So if we preview this slide, we should be able to drag our dude, seagulls, not too high up, stinky space, somewhere here. And what's neat is the learner can engage in all these pieces and keep having a good time as they maneuver through this program. So very cool. Hope you enjoyed it. And once again, thank you for your time. And this has been the most current episode of the Storyline Show, Drag One Too Many. Once again, please feel free to download the files. You can use the links below to go to our website and download these assets, and you would be good to go. So if you've got a need for a Drag One to Many, hopefully this tutorial was able to help, and the files will be able to give you a very clear indicator of how to make it work. Thank you so much for your time, and until the next time, this has been the Storyline Show. Thanks a bunch. Talk soon.